Okay, about a week ago, Todd Walsh left the Lions and went to the Carolina Panthers. And like I said, it's been about a week, and it's this one's still just not sat right with me. So I want to know, why did he actually leave? Why did he take a lateral defensive line coach with Detroit, all the things that we have going, bright future, all that, over to Carolina, new staff? Like, what's going on? Because we know Deuce Staley did it, and he had family. It just made sense to us. So I have four reasons why Todd Walsh went to Carolina Panthers. So let's take a look at it here. You can see this article is about D'Angelo Hall. He kind of headlines the Carolina Panthers coaching staff. And then you've got Deuce Staley, Jim Caldwell, some familiar names, and then Todd Walsh. And you're like, well, what the heck? Todd Walsh, what is he doing? So here's what I found. First things first. I think this is a big one. The timing of it all. He announces this right as Glenn comes back to the Lions. And so he was one of the reasons he left was he was not in consideration for the defensive coordinator job. So while Aaron Glenn was out interviewing, you could kind of see how we would come in-house, look for possible replacement, start that process. He was never considered. And that was something where once Glenn came back, it was like, all right, I'm out of here, right? And I don't think these four reasons or these three or four reasons that I have are all the reason. I think it's a combination of it all. So he was never really fully considered for that defensive coordinator position when really you look at what he did an incredible job with our defensive line. You got rookies, excuse me, you got Aiden Hutchinson. You've got Levi's out. You've got Isaiah Buggs, who's just kind of hadn't really done anything up until this point. You have who's our other guy? Aleem McNeil, second year guy. Not a lot of talent along that defensive line. We really got exposed early on, but then Todd Walsh did a great job with these guys and got them in a good place. So he's thinking, I could probably be a defensive coordinator. Been coaching for 17 years. I'd like the opportunity. Wasn't given that opportunity. The next one I looked for, was there a crossover with Frank Wright? Remember, Frank Wright is the new head coach. Did he work with him in the past? I didn't find a strong correlation there. So that wasn't it. And then I looked at, it's very possible he just is getting more pay. Just straight up, Carolina's going out looking for the best of the best, because Carolina's former defensive line coach was Paul Pasqualoni. Hello, Pasqualoni's 98 years old, terrible. It's very possible that the owner of the Panthers said, hey, Frank Wright, go out, find the best, pay him whatever. He could have got a huge raise to come over to Carolina. There could have been a crossover at some point. He knows him. Obviously, Frank Wright knows him. They went and got him and made it happen. So it's like, look, I'm not getting considered for the defensive coordinator position in Detroit. I'm going to get a lot of money, and they just want me, and I want a little bit warmer weather. Like, if your pay doubles, you're going to look at some stuff, right? So that is another reason, because you look at their owner. Their owner is frustrated. He's a billionaire owner. I think he's like the second richest dude in the world or something, just ridiculous, right? All these owners are rich. I get it. But they could have been it, where you're just so fed up with like the Paul Pasqualonis of the world. You're like, let's go get the best coaching staff we can put together and pay them whatever we need to. Now, here's the final reason that I think makes the most sense. And again, it's not everything all in one. I think it's a combination of it all. Dom Capers, there's another old guy that just hangs around, finds jobs, is the defensive assistant and like a special assistant, defensive special assistant. Now, Todd Walsh has worked with him 3 out of the past 5 years. In 2019 with the Jags, in 2021 with the Lions, I remember that. And then 2023 now with the Panthers. So Dom Capers is a connection. Dom Capers, you could really like him, could say, Dom Capers could have put in a really good word with Frank Wright, like, hey, we need to go get Todd Walsh, and Frank Wright knows him probably from somewhere, right? Let's throw him a lot of money. And oh, by the way, not too happy that I really wasn't considered for the defensive coordinator position in Detroit. And so there you go. Boom. He could have bolted right then. All kind of comes together. There could be other reasons, but that's what I was able to find, where it makes total sense on the aspect of the Dom Capers situation. There's a connection there. And I really believe, at the end of the day, I think that the Carolina Panthers are going out and finding the best of the best. It's gotten to that point, right? Like, who cares if you have to pay a coordinator or not a coordinator, but a position coach, instead of paying them $600K or whatever, you pay them 1.2, you double it. Who cares? But to them, it's like, dude, I'm gonna get another $1 million to go coach the same thing I'm doing right now. See ya, I'm gone. So it's more pay, connection a little bit, and for the Lions, it hurts, but at the same time, this is why we trust Dan Campbell now versus when before it was like, I don't know, like, you just didn't want to lose good coaches, the whole deal. Now, I don't know if I'm paying attention more or if it just happened where we lost a lot of coaches that we really weren't expecting to lose. So, the Aubrey Pleasant thing started way back. That was fine. The Deuce Staley thing. Oh, okay. Deuce Staley, but we replaced that right away. Todd Walsh, we haven't replaced this. I'm excited to see who we get for defensive line, because our defensive line is not like overly talented. We've got rookies that are coming up. We've got guys that are younger that could have a ceiling, but we need help defensive line wise. So excited to see what Dan Campbell does. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to find a good coach there. It's not the end of the world. It's not a huge loss, but Todd Walsh was in the media more than any other defensive line coach, just because that's what Dan Campbell wants. And he wants to get you in front of the camera and wants you talking. So we were able to get to know him just a little bit, right? He's a defensive line coach. You're not going to know him. He's not like the most important possible thing in your franchise, but it's a loss nonetheless. And we'll have to figure out who we're going to get there. But, look, we don't have the thing that I go back to, that Paul Pasqualoni really messed me up, because I remember him. Remember when he was with the Lions, and it's just like, dude, we don't have any of those just brutal, don't make sense Jim Bob Cooter coaches where it's just terrible, terrible. We've got good coaches. We got a good culture in the building. And I think that's what confused us mostly when he left. It's like, man, don't we have a good culture? Aren't we headed in the right direction? Don't you want to be a part of this? Why did you take a lateral? Well, I think there's some reasons, and it's okay, right? People move, people change jobs. It doesn't mean that everything's crumbling underneath us. We're fine. We're going to find another coach. We'll be fine. But that's the reasons I saw. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is this a big loss to lose Todd Walsh? I don't think so. I'm just more curious. Why did you take a lateral when we got so many good things going for us? Money talks, really. I mean, that's probably it. But there could be other reasons maybe that we don't know. Obviously, there's could be a million reasons we don't know. But at the end of the day, I think we're all good. Dan Campbell will get somebody, and we're in good shape. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see all of you on the next one.